Verse 11. Teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path because of mine enemies. Deliver me not over unto the will of mine enemies, for false witnesses are rising up against me, and such as breathe out cruelty. I have fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thy heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Can I read 13 again? This is the key verse. I have fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. I want to talk to you from this point real quickly. I still believe. I still believe. I still believe. Why don't you turn to somebody and say, I still believe, I still believe, I still believe, I still believe, I still believe. This whole thought of belief is very interesting. And sometimes it has a lot of irony to it. Because the truth of the matter is, how do you believe something when at times you have no visual or tangible evidence? And it makes me think about not just the grace of God that I'm going to get into, but also the sovereignty of God versus our faith in God. Because we do believe that God is omnipresent. We do believe that God is omniscient, meaning he's all-knowing. So we believe that God can be one place at one time and another place at the same time. As a matter of fact, God is so omnipresent, well, if he makes one move from the right or to the left, he's so present in our earth that he will bump into himself every time he tries to make a turn. That's how present our God is. God is so omniscient, meaning he's so all-knowing, that the thing that you thought about, or the thing that you're going to think about next week, you know that thing you would think about next week. That Eagles game that you're preparing for next week. Or for some of y'all, the Carolina Panthers game that you're waiting for next week. You already, in your head, you got the spread all set up. You got the wings, you got the Bud Light, you got the fries, you got the sausage and the kielbasa, you got the hot dogs, you got the hamburgers, you got the ribs. God knows I'm hungry right now. You got everything on the menu. Even that, God knew that before you were even born. A matter of fact, God is so all-knowing that the thing that you're going through right now that you feel like you can't get out of, he knew that before you were even created in your mother's womb. That's how awesome and all-knowing our God is. That's why you ought not trip, you ought not get upset about what you're going through, because if you know that you have God on your side and God is in control of your situation, you should know that he already got the problem figured out. He's already worked it out before you even met the problem. A matter of fact, God is so awesome that before you were even born, he knew your name. He knew you was going to go to jail. He knew you was going to get jacked up. He knew you was going to get in all types of things. But what God did, he used every situation that you went through as a lesson to know that it wasn't because of my mind, it wasn't because of my connections, but if it had not been for the Lord who was on my side, where would I be? Won't you turn to somebody and say, he lets you go through it so you can recognize who he is. But this is the problem. We know all these things about God, but I got some theological quandaries here. Because right now, in our earth, or in our world, particularly in our country, and even in Sierra Leone, everything seems like it's falling apart. Just this week, we see the tragic floods in Houston. People are losing their homes. And people are dying. People are trying to find shelter. So now I got to figure out a way. My belief says God is in control. But I struggle sometimes. I know that God is in control, but I had to ask myself, if I'm logical at all, why is he allowing what he's allowing in the earth? Come on, don't act like you never think about that. Don't act like you never had a loved one die and you ask God, why this one? Out of all the ones, they was 30, they was in their 40s, they had everything together, they loved God, they went to church every day. God, if you wanted to take somebody, I had a list of recommendations for you, people you could have took instead. But instead, you got people who are 85, 90, cussing, drinking, not going to church, serving, living any type of way. Why are they still breathing and living? But the person who left, come on, don't act like you never had some questions. God, why do I gotta be broke? I pay my tithes every Sunday, God. I give to charity, I give to the poor. Why can't I have money in my pocket sometimes? Why do every time I go 2 steps forward, I gotta take 3 steps backwards? Has anybody felt like that sometime? That why do people talk about me and come against me when all I want to do is serve the Lord? All I want to do is live my little life. Has anybody had some questions sometime? But this is what David said. He said, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Whom shall I be afraid? This is why I like that David said this. Because David wasn't no joker. He wasn't no soft church dude singing on the choir. Ah, praise the Lord. David had some military and some tough experience. When David was 15 years old, he killed a lion. When he was 16 years old, he killed a bear. Then later on, he wound up killing Goliath. David is not some regular weak dude. But even knowing how strong and how skilled he was, look what he says. The Lord is the strength of my life. Can I tell you something? Don't think you went through what you went through because you were that strong or because you were that tough. Don't get it twisted. Don't start tripping on God now. Don't think because you know how to fight or because you got a little gun or you made it through a tough situation that it was your own strength. Can I let you know that your body can fail at any time? That you can get sick at any time? And all that strength that you used to have can go just like that? That's why James said life is like a vapor. That you think that everything can be all good right now, but in just one moment, you can leave church this Sunday, get into a car wreck, and lose all of your movement in your body. That's why he said, the Lord is the strength of my life. The Lord is the strength of my life. That even if I don't got no strength, even when I've used all of my strength and all of my fight in previous situations, that when I am weak, that's when God is that strong. But that's not what I want to deal with. I said verse 11 and 14. Sorry about that. But he says, teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path because of my enemies. I want to dissect this real quick because plain in Hebrew is mirror. Somebody say mirror. Say it again. It sounds real good. Say mirror. Sound like a slice of pizza. Mirror. Notice David said plain path. He didn't say easy path. Because David has previous experiences with the enemy. So he understands that it doesn't even make sense to ask God for an easy path. Because when you have enemies, it's not going to be easy. Whenever you got to understand that I don't care. This is David, who's a king, who's defeated a lion. He's defeated a bear. He's defeated Goliath. His friend Ahithophel tried to jack him up. And his own son Absalom, maybe even when he wrote this perhaps, tries to overthrow his kingdom, his own flesh and blood. His own son tried to overthrow his kingdom. And here is David overtook and went through all that and still came out victorious. But even David, who was anointed in the fields, even David, who was after God's own heart, who God loved with all of his heart, even David understands no matter how anointed I am, I'm going to have some enemies. Can I testify to you? I know you got a big Bible. I know you know Genesis through Revelations. I know you might know how to pray until heaven comes down. But can I let you know something? Even you aren't exempt from the attacks of the enemy. I don't care how anointed you are. I don't care how many people you know. I don't care how good you can preach, how good you can sing, how big friends you have. That all of us, whenever you're walking the path of God, you are going to be attacked by the enemy. But this is what encourages me, that no weapon that's formed against me shall be able to prosper. And every tongue that rises up against it, God said, I'll condemn it. So he says, look at this. He says, deliver me not over unto the wills of my enemies. For false witnesses are rising up against me, and such as breathe out cruelty. So now it's got so bad, the enemies are trying to destroy me. But now they're doing false witness against me. So now they might not just be trying to destroy me physically, but now they're trying to kill my testimony. You got to understand, the worst attack you can ever face is an attack on your reputation. It takes years to build a reputation. But it takes one moment, one rumor, one scandal, one mistake to destroy everything you built up your entire life. Do you understand that people can know you as being holy and loving God and doing all these great things, but all it takes is one person to spread some rumors about you, and it will destroy your whole testimony. That's why it's so important is your testimony that Revelation chapter 12 that declares they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony. So David now, he's facing enemies trying to destroy him, trying to kill him, hiding in the bushes, trying to kill him. But now he's facing people destroying his testimony. But now, what I love about it, David didn't say, oh, that's all right. God got me. Oh, I ain't worried about them. People going to just talk about me. No. David clearly was affected by this. Because look at David's realness. Look at verse 13. He said, I have fainted. I like that. I like that. Because too many of us act like, even though we're going through struggle, we love to quote scriptures and say all this stuff. Oh, how you doing today? Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. And I'm blessed and highly favored. And God is good all the time. And ain't he good? Blah, blah, blah. Knowing you're getting jacked up at home, knowing all hell was breaking loose on your job, knowing that your family's turning against you, knowing you ain't got no money in your bank, you got to go to McDonald's and can buy a 2 for $2. You can't even get a real meal sometimes. But you saying, I'm blessed and highly favored. No, I ain't going to tell you I'm blessed. I'm saying, listen, I'm jacked up. I'm about to go crazy up in here. I'm about to give up. David was like, I had fainted. He said, I felt like giving up. Man, I felt like quitting. After all the hell I've been through, I felt like throwing in the towel. I didn't feel like coming to church. I didn't want to read the Bible. I didn't want to sing those songs. I didn't want to pray. I didn't want to talk to my neighbor. I didn't want to do none of that. I wanted to give up on God and turn away. And just get down on the grave and just give up. But this is what I like about David. He said, had not fainted. But guess what? There's a comma between that fainted and the next thing. He said, unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Meaning, I felt like giving up. I felt like quitting. I felt like committing